everyone, I'm Kathy Dawson. Welcome to Can You Relate? Cleveland's and Northeast Ohio's relationship show. We have a full show for you today. We're going to be answering lots of questions. First, our relationship roundup group on the couch is going to be answering how much information do you tell your friends about your partner? Then we're going to talk about how do you fight or argue with your partner? Do you fight fairly or unfairly? And then we're going to answer the age-old question of what do women really want? But first, we're going to talk about the relationship between you and your lawn and your health. So let's get started. We love our lawns, we love our health, but what is the relationship between the two? And is there something we could be doing with our lawns that's causing us to be sick? I am so delighted to welcome Ron Zayak to the show. You are from Canterbury Creek Gardens, and you are in an organic garden center located in Westlake. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So help us understand a little bit about health and lawns. What does that really mean? We have props here, but we're going to get to those in a second.
Okay. Well, when it comes to lawn care, I think I have a unique perspective on it because I've been in business for 25 years, but I've also had cancer. And as a result, I know the relationships between the products that you're using and your health.
Okay, so when you're either applying the chemicals as a profession, right, or perhaps you're an owner of a home with a lawn that has chemicals, are you saying both of those people are at risk?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Anybody comes in contact with it, even when you walk into stores and you inhale that stuff, that's considered a contact exposure.
Oh, terrific. Okay, so what do we do about this?
Well, you can minimize your exposure to it. You could use organic lawn care products.
All right.
We've been using them for years. They cost less money. They're easier to use, fewer applications.
And I know you talk about, you spend like $40 a year on your lawn.
Yeah, and our lawn looks as good as anybody's on our block.
Exactly. So now we have some things you want to talk about, different kinds of soil. And I think we're going to start with this one, right?
This is pretty much the industry standard of a peat mix. It holds water like a sponge. The problem is it doesn't hold fertilizer. And fertilizer is becoming a major pollution problem, and it's expensive. So when you use a soil like this and then you put a fertilizer in it, then you water the next day, along with the water coming out the bottom of the pot, the fertilizer comes out the bottom of the pot.
Okay.
There's nothing in it to hold the fertilizer.
All
so
right.
You have to reapply fertilizer very often, and you lose a lot of it.
This is new info, especially for me, because when I go to a garden center and they have those big bags, peat moss, just because I figure that's what everybody uses. But you're saying it doesn't hold the fertilizer.
Right. It's convenient. It's inexpensive to ship. It's lightweight.
Yep. It's easy to carry. Okay, now what's the difference between this one and this one?
Okay, this is a compost-based soil. In that amount of soil, there's billions of little creatures in there that are helping your plants grow.
Okay.
Microscopic.
Okay.
And what they do is, as you fertilize with that, especially with organic fertilizers, this soil holds on to the nutrients, and so you're not wasting fertilizer, it's not leaching into our water system, it's not polluting the lake.
Okay, great. Now what's in this pot?
This is a salad bowl planter, and we can't avoid exposure to toxins anymore, but what we can do is try to make our immune system as strong as possible. And what a lot of people don't realize, the most nourishing foods there are leafy greens.
Yes.
And this is a way of growing leafy greens in a compost-based soil, so you have the most nutritious foods in the world grown in a way that maximizes their nutritional value.
And also it looks pretty.
Yeah,
I mean, you could put this out on your back deck and you'd have several of these, and could you have a whole garden of vegetables and lettuce?
A lot of people have been doing that the last few years. It's like, well, if I have all these pots here, why don't I grow something I could eat rather than just look at?
Exactly.
And they look pretty too.
And you pinch it off and they just keep growing. You can have this for months, I'm guessing.
Yes, it lasts for months. You pinch off the lower leaves, you let the thing keep growing, you water it a little bit every day, you fertilize it every couple of weeks, and you try to harvest every day or two, because if it gets overgrown, it'll actually slow production down.
Now I want to mention a couple things about you and your place, because you have a great website. You have summer seminars about these kinds of salad bowl pot things, and you also have this thing where you give away salad. You don't give away; you sell salad, but it's organic salad that you've made, and every Saturday at 2:30 it's available.
Right.
All right. Okay, you have so much to tell us about all this. So thank you for being on the show. I want to let everybody know that if you want to get a hold of Ron, you can do so by going to his website at CanterburyCreekGarden.com or call 440-899-2740. Thanks again. Stay tuned because we've got Relationship Roundup coming up next.
Up next, when you're gabbing with your gal pals, how much about your mate should you share? Our Relationship Roundup reveals their responses. And later in the show, Mommy needs a makeover. We'll find out how a change in appearance can change your outlook.
Craig and Mark Lindahl and Grange Insurance understand that 1 minute, you're out there living life to the fullest. The next thing you know, you've got sweeping changes to make and your family's future to think about. Talk to Lindahl Insurance about how to save by putting all of your insurance with Grange, protecting your possessions and the ones you love. When things zig instead of zag, contact Lindahl Insurance or visit their website.
Cuyahoga Community College is a national leader in healthcare education. We have over 20 healthcare programs that lead to associate degrees. Registered nursing, we have physician assistant, we have dental hygiene, sonography, pharmacy tech, EMT. Tri-C graduates, they're saving lives every day in our community. Start your career in healthcare at Cuyahoga Community College. Tri-C, where futures begin.
This is the Relationship Roundup segment, and this is where I get to have my friends come in and sit on the couch and we talk about different kinds of relationship topics. Before I put out the topic, though, I want everybody here on the couch to introduce themselves. We're going to start on the end here.
Okay, I'm Patrice Blakemore, and I'm a confidence coach through Blakemore Coaching. I have 3 children. They're 9, 7, and 5 months.
And you've been here several times, so welcome back.
Thank you so much.
And?
I'm Barbara Rose. I'm a longtime friend of yours.
Yes, you are.
And I'm married 39 years. I have 2 grown daughters, 28 and 25, and
Great.
I'm happy to be here.
Well, we're happy to have you.
Thanks, Kathy.
Laura?
Hi, Kathy.
You're new to the couch.
No, I've been
Well,
on the
but I
couch.
mean for the relationship.
Yes, sorry. Laura Murata, I'm a realtor. I live in Cleveland Heights. I'm also a lifestyle consultant, married, and I have 3 daughters, 7, 10, and 13.
Welcome.
Yes, thank
All right, so you ready? Here's the question. How much information about your husband do you share with your friends?
Now, are you talking about sex or?
Well, Barbara, would you like to? Sure, whatever. No,
I mean that's the only thing I share with my friends.
It's all open. You tell me.
I'm an oversharer.
You're an oversharer.
I tend to overshare and then regret later, so I'm with the seek forgiveness rather than permission.
Are we saying that you share sexual things?
I do.
Okay.
Wow.
I do.
Okay, how about
when it's appropriate, if it's ever appropriate.
Okay.
In honesty, I mean, I'm my husband's biggest fan, and I brag about him all the time because he's terrific, but there are certain things
In bed? Oh, no, I'm just joking.
All right, you guys.
I think it's
Going to a whole other show here.
This is afternoon TV. But there are certain things I do not share because he would kill me.
Well, you have some discernment.
Yes.
Okay.
Believe it or
not.
not.
That you don't.
No.
I tend to be a sharer
I'm
as
an
well.
oversharer.
I do that. And people I
And
don't
I
know.
don't
Let
do
me
this
tell
with
you that.
everybody. I mean, it's with my, BFFs, if you would like.
Right.
I'm too old to say that word, but basically, I see the advantage sometimes to doing that. I think it helps you bond with people, but I don't want to do it in an inappropriate way either.
Right.
And I want to respect my husband's.
Yes. Patrice, how about you?
privacy.
I'm pretty open, so there are a lot of things for me that are not personal that my husband may disagree with. So,
Okay.
I share. I'm a sharer. And so if people tell me, okay, Patrice, you really cannot share this, I'm like, oh, okay, got it.
Now, the thing is if you put it out there, it's out there, right?
Absolutely.
You have to
Can't
ask
take it
yourself,
back.
oh my gosh, do I trust this person that they're not going to tell everybody else? So if you're an overshare like we tend to be.
I've learned my lesson.
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Now here's a question. Say you have some complaints, because I think that's what you're saying, Barbara. Do you tend to really dump them on, I mean, really go all out and say, I just need a vent about your partner?
No, usually I have to vent about everybody else. I don't know.
No, that's not a thing for you.
I'm not a complainer.
Okay.
I think you would know that.
Yeah.
Have I ever complained about him to you?
No, you actually haven't.
I know.
No, I know.
What's wrong
That's
with me?
good. No, you're good. Okay, you two, you guys, do you ever tend to want to vent about your partner?
Absolutely. I mean, I think venting is okay, especially I'd rather vent to someone else than to dump it all on him. Because a lot of times after I talk through it, I'm like, oh, okay, I guess that was my fault.
You hear yourself talk and you figure it out.
Absolutely. Or I complain to myself. If there's nobody around, I'll just complain to me.
Now, here's the hazard in that, though. You complain enough to your friend, they start to not like your husband.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Right.
Meanwhile, you've worked it out with him, and they're
Right.
not liking him.
Right.
That's why I have one go-to person that I will process things with, and she's completely confidential, and I know that because, you know, I've shared enough with her
Right.
to know that it really doesn't go any further. So I'm okay with doing that, but I agree with what Patrice said, and Barbara also. I mean, you have to have a place to vent. You just have to find the right place.
The right person, the person you can trust. Thank you so much for all of your viewpoints.
Thank you.
Now,
You're welcome.
if you have a viewpoint on this topic, we want you to Facebook us or tweet us. So stay tuned. We've got Rate Your Relationship coming up next.
They say all's fair in love and war, but who wants to be at war with someone they love? Still, when you do spar with your spouse, do you fight fair or do you? Compare your mate to a friend's or family member's spouse. Bring up problems from the past. Make fun of your mate's fear or phobia. Say, I want a divorce. Go to your neutral corners. Coach Kathy is here to referee.
If you said yes to any of these questions, you probably are fighting with your partner below the belt. Doing things like comparing your partner to someone else, making fun of their phobias, bringing up the D word, divorce, this is not going to help you. So what you need to do is when your emotions are high, just tell your partner you need a timeout. And then when you reconvene, you get back together, put all those other habits aside and really genuinely from your heart speak your truth. Tell the person how you feel. That is the best way that you'll come to resolution. It takes practice, but it works. So if you know someone who would like to take this survey, they can do so by going to CanYouRelateTV.com. Stay tuned. We have more of Can You Relate coming up.
Just ahead, looking your best could make you a better mom. Find out why. And later, can you teach an old dog new tricks? We're going to try.
Everybody wins when you decide to donate your ride to Our Lady of the Wayside.
Our Lady of the Wayside is so much more than a car donation program. For over 40 years, we've helped thousands of physically and mentally challenged citizens live more comfortable lives within our network of homes. Our services range from assisting with personal care to developing productive personal growth. With your generous support and help, we can reach out to so many more. Y'all can help. Visit wayside.org or stop in to see us today. You can change lives.
If you have children, I do not have to tell you that your body changes after pregnancy. And how you feel about your body has a lot to do with how you feel about yourself and how you feel in relationships. I'm so happy to introduce Joyesh Raj back to the show with Raj Plastic Surgery. This is so huge for women. I mean, everybody out there can relate to this. You know, how they appear, especially after pregnancy, affects how they feel about themselves.
Absolutely. This is one of the best parts of my job. This is why I love my job so much. You get to transform people's lives, you know.
So it isn't just about the appearance, right? What else transforms when somebody takes care of stuff?
Well, you know, what happens is that, you know, moms, you know, they spend so much time taking care of everybody else in their family. And truly, every mom knows that the mom is the heart of the home. And if mom doesn't feel quite right about her body, from all the changes that occurred in pregnancy, it just doesn't feel good. And there are consequences in the way she interacts with her husband, with her kids, how available she is for everybody emotionally, not just physically.
No, right, absolutely. I have more friends, I'm telling you, no names, but we'll sit around and we'll talk about, so what's hanging on your body? Okay, I'm 54, so what's sagging? And it's the tummy after the pregnancy, and then it rents space in our head. We really obsess over this kind of thing.
Absolutely, and what I find in our practice is that the hardest thing for a mom to do is to just walk in our door. They spend so much time taking care of other people. The concept of doing something for themselves is sometimes a little bit of a challenge.
So is that the biggest obstacle from walking in, picking up the phone and calling somebody and walking in the door, is that, well, I can't do it for me because I'm taking care of everybody else?
That's right. A lot of people feel that, well, is it the right thing? Am I, being selfish? Am I being shallow? These are not what's really going on. What moms need to understand and realize is that when they feel good about themselves and how they perceive themselves, they project that aura and the energy towards their whole family. The whole family benefits because they're more available and more happy in their relationships with their kids, their husbands, and...
So what areas in a body for a woman, what changes after pregnancy that you work on the most?
Well, very commonly, obviously, most people understand that the belly will stretch outwards. And so what happens is the abdominal wall fills up and the muscles stretch out and the skin stretches out. Mm-hmm. Well, after the baby is born, everything kind of recoils. But sometimes the recoil doesn't work as well as you'd like it to.
Yeah.
And so you're left with a couple things. Sometimes there's stretch marks, sometimes the skin is a little saggy, or the muscles are even spread out. And a lot of women who are very active physically, with exercise, they feel that it's much more difficult to do sit-ups afterwards. Well, it's because the muscles in the front part of the belly have kind of been split out. So one thing we can do is recontour the abdomen by either removing some of the skin, getting rid of some of the stretch marks, realigning and orienting the muscles so you kind of have an internal course that gives that hourglass figure.
So I think there's a myth out there that if you just do enough sit-ups, you can get your stomach back. But in some cases,
it's just not going to happen.
And the skin, even though your muscles are tighter, the skin's hanging there.
That's right. That's right. Sometimes you have to remove it, unfortunately.
Okay.
The other area that changes with pregnancy is a woman's breasts, and sometimes they'll swell up, and then obviously once the swelling goes down after lactation is completed, sometimes it's like a deflated balloon. The breasts become saggier and they lose volume. So sometimes we'll have to replace some of that volume by placing a breast implant, or we can do a lift, for example, to reposition and reshape the breast.
I've got so many questions. You're coming back.
I'd love to. I'd be happy to.
Great. So if you have questions and you want to hear more about this, you definitely want to give Dr. Raj a call at 440-808-8030. That's Raj Plastic Surgery, and the website is rajplasticsurgery.com. Wonderful information. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy.
We'll be right back.
Next, we'll go back to basics on behavior from man's best friend. Then, what do women really want? Coach Kathy has the answer to this age-old question.
Throughout history, all around the globe, a clear night sky has always been a backdrop for romance. Shooting stars, a full moon, constellations, they all set a romantic mood. Well, here in Northeast Ohio, you and your mate don't have to wait for a cloudless sky to see the magic of the night. You have the ability to view galaxies from somewhere almost as close as your own backyard. The Chaffron Planetarium at University Circle. Open 7 days a week, the planetarium allows you the ability to see more than 5,000 stars, the sun, the moon, and 5 planets visible from Earth. So take a date to have lunch or dinner at one of the more than 35 restaurants surrounding University Circle. After a quiet, romantic meal, stop by the Chaffron Planetarium, lean back, and stare at the stars together. It's a show you won't want to miss.
Hi, I'm Alex with Northeast Factory Direct with even more reasons to come to our warehouse. No fancy showroom, truckloads of mattresses, furniture, hot tubs, and kitchen cabinets. All the quality, half the price. It's all here at Northeast Factory Direct.
For those who struggle with drug and alcohol addiction, finding the courage to change is the first step to lasting recovery. Discover life in recovery. Discover Glen Bay.
Glen Bay, nationally recognized drug and alcohol treatment for adults. Discover more at glenbay.com.
We all love our dogs, just like I love our Rosie. But you know, how we relate to our dogs really makes an effect in how they relate to us. So we're having Chuck Stella back from Elite K911 training. I'm so glad to have you back. You always come in with great information.
Love to be here.
Now, I do some things with Rosie that I think probably aren't the right things to do, and you're here to help me with that. I'm going to put her down. One of the things that I tend to do when people come to the door, Rosie's not big, but she'll jump on their leg, and I kind of let it happen thinking, well, she's not big.
Sure.
And people don't seem upset by it. They say, oh, Rosie, hi, honey, you're so cute. So is that right or wrong?
Well, it's wrong if you let your dog jump. If the people want your dog to jump on them, that's their business, but my dogs are not allowed to jump, so your dog shouldn't be jumping on them, even if they say it's okay.
Okay.
So they send a signal that says, jump on me, but you have to send the signal because you're the alpha, you're in charge of the dog, you have to send the signal that you're not allowed to jump.
Okay.
So my dogs are trained not to jump, even if somebody encourages them to jump, because they know they're not allowed to.
So what do I do? Because this happens every day.
Sure. And the best way to cure that is to create a new habit. The habit is now people come over and they use the high voice with Rosie and they get her excited and she jumps up and they reward her. Okay?
Yes.
What we want to do is we want to start putting a leash on her. If you notice, I changed your equipment a little bit. I just put a leash around her neck, and it's actually backwards. I took the loop, and every time someone comes to my door, I'm going to put this leash on my dog.
Okay.
And I'm going to bring my dog to the door with me, and I'm going to tell my friends, please don't use your high voice, because that's an excited voice that I don't want to give my dog. I don't want to put my dog in that much excitement. And two, I want to have the leash in my hand so that if Rosie tries to jump, I can make a small correction.
All right, so I'm picturing this. I have clients coming all the time. So they come to the door, and I've got Rosie with me, and I say, hi, come on, and I have some ground rules I want to share with you with Rosie up front. I'm going to request that you refrain from using a high voice with her. And now, meanwhile, she's already jumped on their legs, so am I going no?
Yep.
Or...
Yeah, so if she wants to jump, all you're going to do, and you can see she's pretty excited right now. But what I'd want to do is I just want to make a light correction on the collar. Rosie, come see. Very good.
Good girl.
So even a simple correction like that was enough to get her to get up and come over to me.
Okay.
So all I'm doing is changing her thought. And what she thinks is when somebody comes in, I jump. And we were doing back here before, people were coming up to her and I was correcting her and she would sit and lay down and get affection. And so that's what we want to do. So we want to teach the dog by demonstrating with a leash that the dog can't jump. We want to teach the client or the person coming in that they also can't act a certain way.
Exactly, and I need to change the tone of my voice because I tend to go, hi, and that doesn't help.
But that's a relationship between you and your dog.
Right.
And when I encourage my dogs to play with me and jump on me, they know it's a game.
Okay.
But any other time, anybody else, they're not allowed to. So it is kind of an energy thing. So if you're playing with her, that's fine. You can have the jumping up and running around the house. But when your clients are coming to the door, it's time to go to work.
Different tone.
Yep, different tone, leash on her, and
Can't wait to
control.
try. Cannot wait to try.
After a few days, it'll all change. If you have that, maybe we'll come into your house in a couple of days. It'll happen.
All right, now I want to talk about a couple things. You have a thing called a pack walk.
Yes, we do.
On Wednesday nights, I think?
We have one on Wednesday nights, and we're going to have one on every twice a month on Sundays.
All right.
To be announced.
And I think we've got some pictures here, yes, of people.
Oh, yeah, great.
So this is to help them walk, learn how they are the alpha and they're walking their dog.
Yeah, and that's where the pack behavior starts with the walk. If you don't walk your dog properly, if you walk submissively to your dog, nothing else is going to matter. They're not going to listen to you.
Okay.
So the pack walk is very important, and it's great for distraction.
Okay. Now also, you got this big construction thing going on in your place. Tell us about that.
Well, we actually started construction today. We tore the roof off the building. We're adding a 2,500 square foot training center above, and we've actually built a rehabilitation center below. And so we'll have a board and train where people bring their dogs to let us train them for a week or a couple days.
Okay.
We also do rehabilitation on certain dogs that have real problems that have to come to our facility and stay.
So you're really expanding to allow for a lot of people to come to you. That's fabulous.
We're doing very well.
And you have great information. Witness Rosie. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
If you have a pet or a dog and you need help with the dog, I highly recommend you give Chuck a call at 440-666-0749 or go to his website at elitek911.com. Stay tuned because we've got Ask Coach Kathy coming up next.
Coming up, she's annoyed. He's unaware as to why. Kathy enlightens him with the answer. And next week, you want lovely locks without harming your hair. We'll teach you how to tame your tresses without toxins. Next week on Can You Relate with Kathy Dawson.
Universal Windows Direct wants to know, what don't you like about your windows?
Cleaning them is such a pain, and they're so difficult to open.
We're always freezing in this house.
And I've had enough of these high energy bills.
Don't put up with the old and outdated. Universal Windows has affordable, high quality windows for 30% less than our competitors.
Plus, our windows install in 1 day. They're maintenance free and they save you big money. In the end, you'll be saying,
I love my windows.
So call, click, or visit today, and you'll be glad you did.
This is the Ask Coach Kathy segment. This is where you get the chance to write in a question to me and I answer it on the air. This week's question is, Kathy, I've been married for 27 years and I cannot figure out why my wife is unhappy in our relationship. She spends a lot of time nagging at me to do this or to do that. Tell me, what do women really want from men? Now, I have to tell you, I've been a relationship coach for 20 years. I get asked this question a lot. What do women really want? Here is the answer. Women want men to initiate. Whether it means initiating in communicating, in romance, in chores, whatever it is, women want to know they matter enough that the man is going to make the effort to initiate. So men, if you're watching this show, this is your homework for this week. I want you to take a piece of paper and write the word initiate on it and tape it somewhere you can see it, whether it's at the inside of the medicine cabinet, back of the closet door, whatever it is. But that is your homework. Initiate, initiate, initiate. So if you have a question you would like to ask me, feel free to send in the questions to CanYouRelateTV.com. Stay tuned because I'll be back to tell you what's coming up on next week's show.
You can get in touch with Kathy by calling 216-932-5016 or visit KathyTheCoach.com.
Thanks for joining us on Can You Relate? We'll see you next week, next Monday.
Wardrobe provided by Aurora Farms Premium Outlets. Hair and makeup courtesy of John Roberts Salon and Spa. Want to learn more about today's topics? Suggest segments? Add your input. You can do all this and more at www.canyouRelateTV.com. Can You Relate with Kathy Dawson is presented by CK Media Productions.